Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. And this is the best sports podcast there is. Now, today, man, we're covering the NFL. I told you we was going to get the predictions. So we have a few here for you today. And, you know, personally, I done got myself into some situations where, you know, I'm terrified, truthfully. Like, you know, I may be uncomfortable, definitely scared. Like, moving to Chicago was definitely like that for me, man. Me personally. I ain't even have a job. Truth be told, I didn't have a job. It was new rent. I had a car. I had so many different responsibilities. And, you know, I was truthfully terrified about it because, I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, one bad mistake and, hey, I'm out on my ass. So I was a little scared. But, you know, I can reminisce forever. It was a lot of great things that came from it. Met great people that traveled in and out of the country, all of that stuff. But I'm not going to sit here reminisce forever. I did not forget, though. I didn't forget all of those preseason questions and concerns that I once had in the offseason when I first got out here and I was recording. I didn't forget about none of that. So we got to touch on those really quick and see what is true and what is not. So let's do it. All right. So the questions and concerns, one of them was definitely, can Tua handle his business with such a lethal offense and utilize his weapons with the Miami Dolphins? I remember that one vividly, actually. And I think it's only safe to say now that actually Tua has been doing his thing, right? Tua has been balling out, and despite, you know, the BS injury that they tried to rub off about his concussion and the BS injury that he suffered last night in a loss against the Bengals, he's definitely been balling out. So we give credit to Tua. I think that's pretty accurate. Definitely is. All right, and the other one we had was about Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, will he bring consistency to the Saints offense to make them complete? I can't really give you the consistency. I can't really give a yes on that one, man. Jameis has been very inconsistent within these 3 games. Hopefully it's not 4, but within the quarters, I've seen him play great. I've seen him play bad. I just seen too much inconsistency so far. So I don't think it can happen. Obviously, it can change, but as of right now, to answer that question that I had from the preseason, no, he's not bringing any type of consistency. All right, and I had the Chiefs. I had questions about the Chiefs and concerns about the Chiefs as well. How will the Chiefs offense look without Tyreek Hill receiving the ball? That was a solid question, a big concern for a lot of people, but they didn't address it. I'm addressing mine. I'll say if I'm right or wrong, but I think the Chiefs offense are definitely still solid. The Chiefs offense are rolling. And although it was a big blow losing Tyreek Hill because he's such a phenomenal player, clearly they do not need him in order to be good. That's been proven. Obviously, we've known, thinking rationally would tell you that they did not need him as long as they had Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They were okay. But, you know, to answer that question, definitely the Chiefs are still solid. And with the Lions, this was the last question of the offseason here with the Lions. Are they going to continue to stink or be better? Now, with the Lions, they are better. I'll say they're better. They're definitely better than what they were, but I don't think they're competitors yet. They're not threats. They're not serious threats, but they definitely are better. And we can tell just from, you know, the few weeks that they've played, they actually got a win. They've been much more competitive, I should say. But again, they're just not threats yet. So I don't know, but let's touch on the predictions, man. We'll take a quick break and then we'll jump straight into the predictions. Let's do it. We'll be right back.
Now, you know, just because you're busy doesn't mean you got to be stressed. I'm crazy busy right there with you, but it can be easier. Next time you're on a run, just make it more fun and listen to The Run with Manny Wilson. It's The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. Now, to cap off week 4 of the NFL, I have to beat the record of 8-8. Last week, my record was 8-8 with predictions. It was a rough week in week 3. So far, my best week is in week 2. I think I had a 9-7 record. Yep, 9-7. Yep, I had a 9-7 record, so it wasn't bad at all. It was pretty solid for that week. And last week was rough with 8-8. So let's beat it. Right now, I'm 1-0. 1-0 as the Bengals won. I said it in the last episode, although I didn't give you the full predictions. But I said I wanted the Dolphins to win, but I'm hoping the Bengals ended up pulling off the win. And they did. They won last night 27-15. And the Dolphins have their first loss of the season. So the only undefeated team right now is the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, that's going to be tough, and that's going to be cool to watch them. I think they're going to win this week, but let's run through it. Kicking it off with the Seahawks and the Lions. Lions are going to win that. Vikings and the Saints. Saints are going to win that. Browns and the Falcons. Let's pause here. As much as I would love the Falcons to win this game, I don't think they can. The Browns have actually looked good. And they also have a hell of an offensive line. And in terms of protecting their QB, he's been actually playing pretty solid for a backup quarterback, holding it down until Deshaun Watson can get back. But I think the Browns are definitely going to win this game here. Then we have the Commanders and the Cowboys. Cowboys are going to win. Last week, I don't know, man. I think I'm getting convinced by Cooper Rush for sure that, he's kind of balling out doing his thing. So I'm going with the Cowboys to win that. That's kind of an easy win for me. Titans and the Colts, going with the Titans. Bears and the Giants, we're going with the Bears, surprisingly. Jaguars and the Eagles. Eagles are going to remain undefeated as they beat the Jaguars. Definitely going to aim for that. The Jets and the Steelers. I have the Steelers winning this ball game here, although I think the Jets are going to make it a game. So I wouldn't be too surprised if the Jets did pull this off. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And this is a game here. So let's pause. The Ravens and the Bills. This game is going to be, I'm hoping to see a great game. The Ravens, they will be at home in front of the Ravens flock. And I'm pretty much going for Lamar Jackson to go as far as he can because he still has not gotten paid by the Ravens. So I need him to get that big payday. I'm hoping he doesn't lose a game until he gets that big ass paycheck because he's been playing at an immaculate level. And also for the Bills right now, Josh Allen, he's heating up in the MVP talks right there with Lamar Jackson. So I think it's safe to say we're looking at a quarterback showdown right now. That's going to be super cool to watch. But I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens to win this game. All right, last of the morning games with the Chargers and the Texans. Easy, going with the Chargers, but they better not fold on me like they did last week against the Jaguars. That's a side note. Cardinals and the Panthers will be the first of the afternoon games who will start, around 2:30, 3:30, depending on your time zone. But I'm going with the Cardinals to win that game. Patriots and the Packers. Packers will win. Broncos and the Raiders. Let's pause here. Yep, let's pause here. The Raiders suck, man. The Raiders really suck, and it's been pissing me off. The Raiders really are terrible because there's no way they've been finding a way to lose these games like they have been. And the Broncos too, because I just don't get it, man. Like, you load your offense up, you load your team up, you stack your team up with these great guys, the great weapons on the offensive end. You got a hell of a quarterback, you got a great defense, and you don't win games. And I get the Broncos, they got a better record, obviously, but their play has just been terrible, bro. It hasn't looked great at all. In terms of a team that has Russell Wilson from all the other teams that he's played on with a great defense, great players, you would think that, okay, he would make some magic happen with these guys that he has here, right? Because, anytime he had weapons in Seattle, he did something, correct? So both of these teams are really pissing me off. I don't know who to go with, but I'm going to pick the Raiders simply because they are at home and I can't see them continuing to go 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, 0-7. So one of these weeks they have to win. One of these weeks they got to win. And damn it, it needs to be this week because this Broncos are liable to give them the game. Broncos are very liable to get them the game. So I'm picking the Raiders to actually win. So I need them to show out and pull off the damn win, bro. Y'all, they've been pissing me off. They've been pissing me off for sure. All right, let's move on. Let's get away from them. You have the Broncos. No, I just touched on that. The Chiefs and the Buccaneers. The Chiefs and the Buccaneers, I'm hoping to see a great game. They are going to continue this game in Tampa, although Tom Brady and the rest of the Floridians down there are possibly going to face this Hurricane Ian. So I hope it's safe. First things first there. I hope it's safe for everybody. But I'm picking the Chiefs. Chiefs are going to blow that place up if Hurricane Ian don't. All right, let me stop. That's terrible. I didn't say that. Don't cancel me. For Monday Night Football, let's do it. This is the last game of the week here. Let's end it off with the vibes. You have the Rams and the 49ers. This is easy, though. I'm picking the Rams, although I think the 49ers may mess around and surprise us and just get a win. I think this is Jimmy Garoppolo's game to actually prove himself, prove he's a solid quarterback still. And I think he may actually pull it off, but I would be fooling myself if I went with the 49ers, so I have to go with the Rams. It's a no-brainer. But anyway, man, look, hey, I greatly appreciate you hanging with me, man. I know it's a lot of things that I want to cover, but I'm not going to hold you up like that. I'll put it that way. All I'm going to leave you with, though, I do have a heavy heart right now, so I want to leave you with some inspiration. Just pretty much anything you're going through, man, whatever you may be going through, you may feel uncomfortable. You may not like the way it feels. You may be scared of the situation. Sometimes that is the reality. I know a lot of times people hate to admit that they are scared. But no, man, I mean, it happens. We get scared. We all have emotions. I was personally terrified when I moved out here to Chicago just about a year ago. And I mean, it's been great ever since. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been so many experiences that I've dealt with and people that I've met that just brought me joy, in places that I visited, places that I went that brought me a lot of joy. So I say all of that to say, it's okay to face your fears. And whenever you're uncomfortable, just know you're also growing in that process as well. So that's just a quick reminder. Obviously, you may already know that. You probably keep that in your mind as well. But I definitely want to just leave you with that, leave you with some positivity. But stay tuned, man. Hey, send this to a friend, a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, any of it, man. Send this to them. Be sure to share this. Follow us on Twitter as well at The Run Podcast, and my personal page at I am Manny Wilson. Also the same on Instagram as well. But with that being said, man, we will be back later on next week, and so on and so on and so on. Hey, Detroit, I'm headed out there this weekend. I'll see you if you're out there. All right, man. Y'all be smooth.